Good evening and welcome to ITW Radio. That was Take It to the Breakdown by Stars of Toledo. What a kick butt group they are. Okay, we got, wow, that's more than an hour. Way to close it out after. This show is going to be pretty short. It's going to be for an hour. Roll Tide Roll. Okay, I got to get a lot of questions. We'll do the weather real quick this week. Cold, rain, hot. Let's see. We could do it by day. In the morning, wintertime. By noon, fall. By 2 o'clock, spring, summer, and then fall again. So, okay, this a couple things we're going to talk about tonight.
One Pennsylvania man has made.
Whoa, Pennsylvania man. I don't need a Pennsylvania man.
We're giving away our secrets.
No, there's no secrets here. I don't have any filters. Okay, let's see who's going to join. Where is Mama B? I don't see her. I don't see any of my regular listeners. Maybe they all went out for dinner tonight.
Are you kidding? They're freezing. They're still trying to get their fingers to work for the computer.
I don't drink beer, but if somebody don't get on here and start listening and commenting real soon, I'm going to slam back a 6-pack of Mountain Dew. We had a great show the other night with Miss Helen Hayes.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, Miss Helen Hayes kicks butt. Oh, you guys check out, before we go on, check out Tammy's, my partner in crime, Tammy's new website, A Zen Lemon Tree. She had a really good article that went up this morning. You guys need to go and look at it on the Putman Way. Oh, Teresa joined in. Hello, Jolie. Miss Teresa is going to be on here in a few weeks talking about the right to die law and people's rights. You know, when you get terminal and, you know, you get to a point in your life where if you have cancer and it's terminal, you know, the government makes you sit there and suffer. Okay. It's kind of an iffy subject with me because of what I've seen that's happened in Europe and a couple other places. But I think if you want to go ahead and end the suffering so that you don't have to prolong it and then wind up in a freaking convalescent home, I know if I ever get to that point, I would want assisted suicide because I don't want to drag my kids through a bunch of crap. If I know that I've got brain cancer and I'm going down for the count and there's no cure for me and no help, I don't want to lay around. I want to go out while I'm on top. The day that I start suffering real bad, pull the plug. There's Miss Debbie. I need lasagna. But anyways, the assisted suicide thing, I think that's a good subject for us to talk about. So Miss Teresa will be on here. She's waiting on some information to come in from somewhere. I don't know where it's at. But we had a good show the other night with Miss Helen Hayes. She will be back in here on the 4th in February. Was that a week away?
Yeah, right out a week.
Because tonight I didn't even announce it as
a little over a week.
What's the day? The 25th?
Yes.
Yes. And Miss Annette has a birthday coming up on the 29th, so I'll go ahead and say happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Annette.
And let's see. Anyways, somebody gave a frowny face. I don't know what that's about, but okay. On the Miss Helen was in here the other night, and there is a program. You guys need to get signed up for it by March 25th. I've been getting calls for the last 2 days now. It's driving me crazy. She has a website or an email set up through us. If you go to IITW Radio Rebuild at gmail.com, you can send her an email personally, and she'll get back to you.
That is her private email. We made that for her, so we're not going to have any access to that. Oh, there's Miss Helen now.
Oh, thank you, Miss Helen. I told you we'd talk about you tonight.
Her ears were ringing.
She said I have a potty mouth. She just figured it out. Maybe she won't be back on the 4th. She said, thank you for helping out so many people who have been impacted by the hurricanes. That's not me. That would be you, Miss Helen. Yes. All I am is the middle guy. I'm like that drug dealer you don't want to have.
Miss Jolie said she got her registration done.
Oh, good deal. Miss Jolie, I hope you get in on it. But for you guys and gals listening, this program is set up. Anything over 5 years old on your house, if it was damaged by Hurricane Irma, don't go be blowing holes in your ceiling with a freaking shotgun and calling up and saying, well, I had problems. Now I need a new trailer. If it's over 5 years old and the damage exceeds, I believe, $15,000, then they could potentially come in and bring you a new mobile home without any charge. They take care of the inspections, the permitting, and all that stuff. So I was trying to see what the other ones are saying. But anyhow, what a great program. And it's called Rebuild Florida. You guys can go online. It's on a Wednesday night show. You can go back and check that out if you haven't seen it. Also, if you're a renter, there's things that can help you out. If your house is done and you got money from FEMA, you can still be helped out. Also, for you other ladies and gentlemen out there, especially if you're elderly, get a hold of Miss Helen, because they have a program where they will come in and bring smoke detectors and ones that even vibrate and make your bed and wake you up. And they have ones that pick up on carbon monoxide and smoke detectors, all kinds of stuff.
Just be sure to email IITW Radio Rebuild, REBUILD, at gmail.com and let Miss Helen know, and she'll take care of that. She'll help you out.
Yeah, and also, if you don't have smoke alarms, or you're a single parent, or if you just need smoke alarms, get a hold of her and she'll give you the information about it. Everybody in Putnam County, especially in the wintertime, seems like, every day or two, there's another call that we get asking for help that, my house burnt down. I didn't have a UL heater, and then it just cooked the house. Or it could be a washer, or a dryer, or a stove. There's all kinds of stuff that happens. Or little kids playing with matches. But they have these smoke detectors, and just that extra couple of seconds. I know one of the firemen had told me that from start to finish on a fire before the mobile home is completely destroyed is only like 5 minutes. Where the smoke damage or however the fire starts doesn't take long. And then poof, your whole house is gone. And your whole life. And nothing sucks more than waking up the next morning with nothing but a pair of underwear on. And having nothing else but whatever the Red Cross gives you. So make sure you guys and gals listen on the 4th. She's going to be back in here, and she has some other programs and some more information that she's going to be talking about. Stuff that we just couldn't cover in 1 hour.
Correct.
We might even have her on a couple more times if she can deal with me. She's a sweetheart, though. I had a couple of people that called last night, and she was on her way home or on her way to dinner or home or something. And she took the time to talk to him, a total of a couple of hours that she was on the phone. So that was pretty kick butt that she actually took the time. That. So not only is she helping you guys to do that, she's also helped a few people walk through the programs and explain to them what they could do. And one of the things and biggest concerns that people have had is they have small children, and they're worried about, because of the hurricane damage, that DCF will come in and take care of the children. I wouldn't worry about that as much as I would the black mold and stuff. She's also going to be talking about the stuff. What was the name of the stuff that she...
Concrobium?
Concrobium.
Concrobium. CONCRIBUM. Concrobium.
Yeah. And that is something that can be picked up at Home Depot. I think she said it was like $30 a gallon. It goes a long ways, but it will kill mold pretty much instantly. Don't use bleach and water because it will come back. Unless you're going to rip out the insulation and soak it down, but it will grow back after it's dried up.
Miss Helen says absolutely no worries about DCF.
Yeah, they're not going to come in. You know, if you have, because there's one family that we know that has 19,000 children, and they're really worried about it.
They have one that seems like that, but the rest are. They got a lot of kids, but there's
Dennis-
one in particular.
Dennis the Menace. That's a cool little kid. Someone is trying to shove his little sister in a dryer.
That's okay. She bit him the other day, so.
But anyways, do not worry about DCF coming in. This is not about that. This is to get you help. You cannot
This is
help
about
it.
helping you and helping the kids so that they're in a safe environment. So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about their health.
And they understand that you know, you're trying to keep your family together, but you can't help it, especially when we live in the poorest county in the state for what, 6 years in a row. So you guys make sure that you listen on the 4th, because once the 29th comes and goes, there's no going back. You're not going to get help. And this program was extended. And now another thing too that I need to point out. Hello, Jessica. Another thing that I need to point out, when you go on the website, I believe it still does not. Miss Helen, you correct me if I'm wrong here, because you're still watching. On the website, it does not show Putnam County as being one of the counties that's on the website, but they are on there. Go ahead and fill out your application. Now, if you're in Clay or Duval or any places that were affected by Irma, this program is to help anybody out in Florida. So, and we have listeners all over the state. So you guys and gals need to get a hold of her and apply for this stuff. Now, let me reiterate this. There is a website or a email set up for her on our IITW radio site, and it's IITW radio rebuild.com.
At gmail.com.
Or I'm sorry, at gmail.com.
We'll get you there.
IITW radio rebuild at gmail.com. Go on there and you can ask her questions, because I can't answer all the questions for you. And don't be calling her asking her stupid questions like, will they cover my trees, or if your septic tank was damaged, go back and watch the show from Wednesday night and you'll see all the stuff.
She said that's correct.
What was the question again? If I have a potty mouth.
That one too. Can I say you got some timers or all timers?
I got dumb timers. Don't make fun of my Alzheimer patients or listeners. The one good thing about I'm going to eventually get dementia, and the one good thing about that is I'll make new friends every day, and I'll be the same ones.
You never get bored with yourself anyway.
I'll be able to flip people off and get away with it. I might do that now anyways. What else do we have to talk about?
We got a whole bunch of stuff tonight. It's just up to you where you want to start. I'd like to do a
well-
quick, before we get going, I'd like to do a quick congratulations to one of our artists, Miss Elect Agonai. She got married recently, so I just want to give a shout out to her.
What happened?
She got married.
Oh, yeah.
I want to show. She sang at her wedding. If anybody wanted just a quick clip of it, I wanted to tell her congratulations. This woman is absolutely beautiful.
What a beautiful young lady.
So, yeah, we got a quick clip of her singing at her wedding. It's not the greatest audio output, but
Now, we have some 4,000 artists that are on our site. And
she's one of our Christian singers on Sundays.
Yeah, a lot of them we talk to all the time. So let's go ahead and put her singing up at her wedding. It's a pretty dress.
She's out of Africa. I just wanted a quick congratulations to her and that.
Yeah, congratulations.
So.
She got married?
She got married.
Man, why do you guys and gals do that?
I just want
I'm
to wish her
joking.
congratulations.
No, I'm happy
She's
for
a
her.
beautiful, beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's out of Africa, too.
Yes,
And that's got to be hard to cut an album in Africa.
Yeah.
You know, I don't
Well,
know.
we've been trying to get our artists from Africa online to do some interviews, but we're having a little bit of trouble because their internet's running slower, so we're trying to find better ways to do it.
Well, that and their time difference, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're like 5 hours difference from us, so it's a little bit of a struggle, but we will find a way.
Are they behind us or in front of us?
I think they're ahead of us.
Depends on which way they're
Yeah, they're ahead of
rotating.
us because when we do our shows at 7:30, they're like 12:30, so we're trying to work on it.
I'm sure they don't feel like spending
But we've got some
$10,000 on an interview on a phone call either.
No, we've got some amazing artists out of Africa.
I don't have international calling, so I'm not calling anybody.
We have Ellen Benson also. He's actually one of her music producers. So, and he's one of our artists as well.
Yeah. Well, tonight's always been about what's pissing me off. There's a few things I'm going to jump on before we get to this other news here. One is our roads. I went over to Miss Debbie's house the other day. Now, Miss Debbie, write in and tell me what the name of that road is, please. Now, Mr. Press Tompkins, yes, I am calling you out because for 2.5 freaking years, I have been calling you, and you do not return my phone calls. So, I'm going to find out why you're not calling because I'm going to walk right into your office with a camera crew, Mr. Tompkins, Mr. Press, whatever you want to call us, depressing me. But just on the roads and some of the stuff that's happening, I have to drive through 3 feet of water. And I have a big truck. And this road that's going through down there, Miss Debbie, if you can, tell me the name of that road. Just type it in. This road is so bad. You guys and gals are to go out there. You could skimboard across this thing. Ivanhoe. And if you're coming in off of 207, what's the name of that road you turn on? It's right in between the big cow pastures.
I think it's Kingston Boulevard.
Kingston, that's right.
I'm pretty sure.
Turn on Kingston, you go up, make a left on Ivanhoe, and you go down through there, and you will see the biggest, is the sorriest excuse for a road in the world. And this is a paved road that has 3 feet of water over it now for well over 8-9 months. There's no reason why it should do that. Now, the mosquitoes are growing down there. The hogs are coming out of the swamps. The snakes, the deer, the coyotes, and the wetlands, the dry lands that have now become wetlands. The animals have no place to go but in the habit and into people's yards. And there's cats coming up missing from the coyotes. It's a joke. My road out here, Mr. Tompkins, you have not called me for 2 freaking years. 2.5 years now. And you guys, you can't use an excuse you haven't gotten my phone calls. Because I saved all my receipts. I called up T-Mobile and I got everything printed off. Exactly how long I talked to your office. Exactly how many messages I left. And do you know, Mr. Tompkins, I've left 118 messages with your office. It's Kingston. Kingston to Iowa, then to Ivanhoe. You guys go down and look at that. What a joke. But, all this time, 118 messages left for you to call me, and you cannot call me back one freaking time. You can't get off your butt and come out here and do that. Now, I could see if it was 2 weeks, a month, but not for 2.5 years. But yet, you have destroyed the road that I live on. Your department has destroyed it. You have now caused my yard, which sits on a hill, to flood. You also got my son, almost had my son cut his legs off on a riding lawnmower because it's over 16-inch drop you've cut out of my front yard now to where I can't even mow that anymore. I have people that when I pull out of my driveway now, a lady, Dina, got her car stuck and it was teeter-tottering in the road. Every freaking week, somebody gets stuck in front of my house and I have to go out in my truck and pull them out because what your company or what your department has done is they've stripped all the road base off the top of the hill, drug it down to the bottom of the hill. Now you've created flooding. And now everybody's getting stuck in the sugar sand that you did. And you're taking my real estate away from me. And you're taking everybody else's. Now the road on top of the hill is this much, where everybody else's yards is now this high. At least you can do, Mr. Tompkins, is come out and see me. I'm not going to whip your ass. I'm not going to cuss you out. I just want a question on why in the hell is this even happening? I need a good excuse. At least show up. Even if you show up drunk. Hell, I'd even like that. Go smoke a joint. At least do something. Come out here and look at it. And it's not just here. It's all over Putnam County. Press Tompkins, Public Works Director, 223 Putnam County Boulevard, East Palatka, Florida, 321 31. His office hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5 p.m. His voice phone is 386-329-0346. I didn't even have to look at that. Hell, I've got it memorized now. But that's one of the things that's pissed me off. And I have been out to quite a few of our readers' houses, and it is disgusting what's going on with the roads in this county. And guess if you're the head of public and roads and works and all that, guess whose fault it is? It ain't my freaking fault. But there's a thing right here, and if you will like, I will bring one and drop it to your office. I will go get a Boost Mobile and pay for it and program my number into it, Mr. Tompkins. So, and it'll be real easy for you. All you have to do is swipe the phone and hit the only number that will be on there. Hello, Travis. I can at least return your phone call. Bullshit. Oh, but it just break my phone. This was pissing me off. Okay. Andrea said she drives it every day. How do you make it through there in that little Jeep? The other thing is that we've got going on now is the Blue Crab Festival. Should we do this one or the other one first?
Go ahead with the Blue Crab. Go ahead and talk about the Blue Crab. Everybody's been trying to figure out what's going on with the Blue Crab.
We don't know if the Blue Crab will be here or not.
I don't think anybody does. They're working on it. Here's some interesting news.
They're funding to build out of them. But, you know, they bought in this guy from, what's his name? Studer, Studer.
Studer.
They bought in this guy, Studer, from Pensacola. They were going to pay him $7,500 down, a total to be paid out of $30,000 on how to revitalize Putnam County. You know, and to get people to come downtown. If people don't, you know, and a lot of people are blaming the county commissioners on this, but let me tell you something, it's not all their fault, and it's not their business to be. Yes, they should be helping bring in business, but when you people don't advertise and advertise where it gets out. Now, you advertise in a paper that only runs once a week, that only has a couple hundred subscribers. Don't be surprised when you piss your money away and nobody shows up. Okay? Because the sale you had this week will be over by the time it gets in that paper. If you're going to go into... I know it sounds like I got a dead ear on the right.
Yeah, it keeps switching back and forth on me, too.
It's like listening to the Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yes. Wow, that's weird. Okay, we got it. Thank you.
There it goes. Chris is our IT guy. Say hi, Chris.
I thought it was just me.
There's the hand. Oh, it's doing it again. Hello in there. Pratt, can you hear me?
Yeah, it was messed up. You see what he did? That was funny. He wasn't frustrated at all.
What's that?
It was funny.
What's that show? Wagons East?
Yes.
When he goes, there it is. Now I got nothing.
Now we got it. It's good.
There it goes.
It's coming and going. We're going to have to switch that cable. Now I got it. We're full. Got it. Thank you. Beans. I could hear. I felt like I was talking through my throat. It was the weirdest feeling.
Going like this. I guess I need to get another cord.
That was the weirdest thing.
It's like in that movie Wagons East. If you guys haven't ever seen that, what a great movie.
Sorry about that, guys. We couldn't hear anything.
I said, Pratt, can you hear me? The guy bites his ear off, and the guy's holding his ear, the old drunk guy. He's going, Pratt, can you hear me? Or Midwell, can you hear me? I can hear you, Pratt. I can. Let's see. Brenda said, I've been waiting for Blue Crab Festival. It was in today's paper. It was canceled. Oh, there we go again. Andrea said, I don't have any choices because I don't feel like driving all the way around. Yeah. They should bring it. Yeah, you know, all they'd have to do is put a culvert in there, put some asphalt and dirt over top of it, or actually go down to the river and find out where it's blocking it, because it's never ever been like that. Not that I can remember. I've lived in this area for 21 years now. But yeah, everybody give Mr. Tompkins a call. If your road is messed up, just start calling him up. You know, show up over at his office, knock on his door like I'm going to do. So I'm going to have a camera crew with me. Anyways, back to the Blue Crab Festival.
Cletus. I swear to God, I heard Cletus.
My God. I go get me about 500 boxes of tampons and baby diapers and throw them out there and soak all the water up for them. Anywho, the Blue Crab Festival She said that they announced in today's paper that it's not going to be there again this year. I thought they were trying to get funding for it and was going to talk about it, but I guess not. So if we're not going to have it again, now a lot of that would be because where in the hell are you going to put stuff? There goes my potty mouth again. I can't.
I'm going to start calling you out potty mouth.
What are you eating over there? Cheese nips?
No.
You could just get a swear jar.
Huh?
Get a swear jar.
Yeah, here we go. I'm going to make some money. Every time you curse, you got to put money in a jar. I'm going to make some money.
I'm gonna be broke. Already broke. Can I write IOUs? There ain't that much money in Florida. Anyways, the Blue Crab Festival. Now, the one thing is that the parking area got sold down there, so it's not there anymore. As a matter of fact, somebody asked me yesterday or Wednesday night was talking about the clock tower downtown, saying they had taken it down for repairs. Well, if they took it down, they did a good job on it because they flattened it out. The bricks and everything are gone. So that was another waste of money. But where are they going to put anything downtown? I mean, there's absolutely no room to put anything. I mean, if you put anything in the courthouse, then you have no parking. Ever since that freaking hotel went in down there, a motel, which was kind of a joke because you already have the Holiday Inn across the street that took business away from them. You got what's that? What's the other one across the bridge?
Other what? I'm sorry.
Not Budget Inn.
Quality Inn?
No, the one across the bridge.
Oh my goodness, give me 2 seconds. I'm just in the middle of answering a comment for somebody. It was very important.
Anyways, you have 2 motels there. Plus, you have Crystal Cove Resort. If you guys want to stay at a nice place, go over to Crystal Cove. The prices are pretty good. But anyways, now all that area down there where they used to have the blow-up houses for the kids and all this stuff, now it's all gone. You mainly can park on the street there, but there's no place else to do anything when they put vendors down there. So I don't know why anybody would even want to come there. Best Western.
We have Hampton
Debbie
Inn,
said,
Best,
yeah, Best
Western.
Western.
Yeah, the Hampton Inn is the other one.
Best Western and Holiday Inn. Mm-hmm. And so for them to put that took business away from those 2 locations, which was nuts. And I don't know why they even did that. Why not put the money into beefing those places up or giving out grants to do something else? Anyways, it's a complete joke. But now, even with the clock tower move, from what I understand, that was done for more parking. But the thing was only like 20 by 20. I can't even get my truck in that spot. The people are parking on the bridge, which is kind of dangerous because I've almost got my door ripped off a few times.
Didn't they remove the parking on the bridge too?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they removed the parking on the bridge at the same time they did all this stuff.
But anyhow, there's no place to park except on the side of the road unless you park at the courthouse. Besides that, there's very little parking downtown. You can maybe get 1,000 people in there. What did she say? Jolie said, I don't understand. They spent $40,000 to move the clock tower for the potential of making $2 million. This was printed in PDN, but yet they canceled the festival to get that money. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Of course, there's very little that's making sense to me in this county anymore. But a lot of these businesses and stuff, it's not up to the county. Now, I told you guys I'm fair right across the board. You can't go blame the county when you own a business and you don't advertise. You guys could advertise with us. We give advertising it's so cheap that it comes out to pennies, especially when there's 1 million people plus that read the Putman Way.
Just to help our community out.
Yeah, just to help the community out. They basically charge what it cost me to have the flyers and stuff made up to run a year. This is not a big back company, but we have more readers and listeners than the newspapers in this county. And I'm not going to knock PDN. I think they have a good paper. You know, so, like us, some stuff has to be redacted. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, the thing with newspaper anymore is it's a dying thing, and I take my hat off to them for hanging in as long as they have because everybody wants their information now, not tomorrow morning, not next week. You know. But they do a good job over there. So I'm not going to knock them. And they keep the community informed. But we have the largest format. We have more readers than a lot of the news stations have watchers on the 6 o'clock and 11 o'clock news. So if you want to advertise, you guys could advertise with us and get it out there. And we are worldwide. We have people coming in when Austin Neal came in. We had people coming down from Georgia to watch him, from South Florida. from over on the other side of the coast, but they had to drive around. That's the other thing that's pissing me off. Fort Gates Ferry. Now, how are you going to get in here? Fort Gates Ferry has been around since the late 1800s.
Seminole Indian War, the second Seminole Indian War.
Second or third?
Second.
Second? I thought it was the third.
Yeah.
I stand corrected. See, I am wrong from time to time. Fort Gates Ferry is a ferry that is located down in Georgetown. This is not a commercial for them. This is what's going on. If I can try to figure it out, I will this week. Fort Gates Ferry is a ferry that was started in 1780 or 81 over on the other side of the river. It wasn't a ferry at that time. It was a fort, an outpost. And later on, it became an outpost for the Civil War. And then the Second Seminole Indian War. All these history that has gone across there, and we've had, who was it, Paul Newman that went across there? There's been presidents, all kinds of people. People have gotten married going across that thing. It not only that, but it helps our, like Georgetown, when the fires were across the river, they were over there. And they were bringing people back that were, when the fire department couldn't get in on the other side of Ocala, and those people had to be rescued and gotten out of there. Fort Gates Ferry went across the river, picked them up, and brought them over to safety.
And now they didn't get paid for that either. They did that on their own.
Yeah, and when the plane crashed, which we've had a few of them crash into St. John's, they used the ferry to go and pick up these planes and load them up on there and get them out of the water.
Actually, on top of that, we actually had, because Fort Gates Ferry was closed down, there was a plane crash after Fort Gates Ferry had been closed down because of all this, that it took them longer to get response time in there to recover the body because of the fact that they had to find a way to get across the river when there was a ferry sitting right there, and it happened right by the landing for the ferry.
Yeah.
Within feet of the landing of the ferry. But because Fort Gates Ferry was not operable at the time, due to, all of this, that they weren't able to do it.
Fort Gates Ferry, it's been down for what?
Since Hurricane Irma.
So that's what, going on 2 years?
A little over a year and a half now.
Yeah. So I believe August or September will be 2 years. So a year and a half, and the thing still isn't built. It still isn't up and running. Now, originally, from the agreements and stuff that I read, are you motioning me? Oh, no, you're motioning Chris. Okay. Got people in the studio. Stuff goes on all behind me all the time. Originally, Drayton Island's ferry, Drayton Island got a new ferry, and their ferry was supposed to go to Fort Gates. And then, hello, Ashley. You disappeared. It was originally supposed to go to, Drayton Island was going to go to Fort Gates. But then it changed. Okay? So, the Drayton Island landing now, their barge is 3 feet higher. What's that? All pictures of...
Albums and then Hurricane
Huh?
Sorry, guys,
Okay.
we're working on something in the background. I can't get over there to do it from the other side.
Okay.
There you go.
Here's what happened during Hurricane Irma. We're going to put some pictures up while I'm talking about this. Oh, and by the way, the old ferry that was in the 1800s is still there underwater.
All the original barges that they've moved up over the years are all in the water. They're old Cypress barges.
Yeah, they're all there, the original ones. So this is a piece of history we're going to lose. Now, originally it was supposed to go down. Drayton Island was getting a new barge. Their old barge was going to come to Fort Gates because Fort Gates' barge, because of the ramp, it got rammed through there during Hurricane Irma and blew a big hole in the Fort Gates thing. Now, this is not only is this a piece of history that we're going to lose in Putnam County, but this is a tourist thing that people can come there and go across the river. It also serves as a gateway because the only other place you can go to get across the St. Johns River into Ocala is to go up and around through Palatka and back around, which is over an hour away, or you can drive all the way down to Highway 40 in Barberville, and then you can cut over and go up that way and come back around, which is about 4.5 hours.
You want me to start putting photos up?
Yeah, go ahead and put the photos up. Okay, this is what happened during Hurricane Irma. Okay, go ahead and click on to the next one. You can see the... Hey, that was taken out of my truck, wasn't it?
No.
No, that's not my
That was
truck.
actually one of the followers from Fort Gates Ferry. They came to help, and they were letting us know because we had to leave the area. They were letting us know.
Yeah,
what
no,
was
they
going on.
have cabins and all kinds of stuff down there. And stop right there for a second, Chris. See the cabins that are down there? Those are nice cabins. The guy that runs down there in the boat, if you look at it in the left-hand side up there, how old is that boat?
That is a 1910 sailboat, I do believe. It's the original. It's an original sailboat that they had changed, the old tugboat.
Yeah, and they built it into a tugboat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can see the Hurricane Irma, that is not the county's fault or the state's fault. It's not God's fault. It's just what happens. But you can see the damage that was done there. Go over to the next one. Okay, that tug right there is an old sailboat that was in 1910 that they changed it into a tug. That thing is cool as all get out, too. And it's still functional. What is this? Okay. You can see the damage that was done and how far under Fort Gates was.
They were unable to get any FEMA money or anything to help rebuild. Everything's been coming out of the pockets of the owners to rebuild everything.
Yeah.
And they haven't asked the county to do anything with the land or anything like that, but they have a contract with the county about the actual landings. So
look at that mess. That whole road is underwater there.
And they did not ask the county about the barge. Originally, the county offered them the barge, and was supposed to be the original agreement, but then things have changed. But you can see all of the damage. It's really sad.
Well, it was supposed to be. Sorry about that.
It's getting really smoky in here.
Okay. I'll go ahead and clip through the pictures real quick. I just want you guys and gals to see. But the Mr. Dale and them down there, he did a fabulous job on redoing these yes. cabins and stuff down there, and it's cheap. What's the cabins run down there? Do you know?
I do believe the smaller cabins, the 1-bedrooms, run with tax. It's $45 a night, and the large 2-bedroom cabins are $55 a night. That includes fishing out on the dock. It includes they have the boat ramp and everything. So they have boat slips, but
I used to take the kids down there and fish.
Oh, it's absolutely
years
beautiful
ago.
there.
We caught like I don't know, it's 20-something pound catfish there.
I used to go out and I enjoyed, if you've never been across the Fort Gates Ferry on the river, I pray to goodness that they get this back open, because I would go out there and just ride across for days. It's the most beautiful thing. They have bald eagles usually every year that come out in the middle, and you'll be able to see bald eagles go. But it's the saddest thing because,
This is a picture of the barge now.
Yeah, we just, all we want to do is get this up and going. The whole community wants to get going, but then the county's saying that nobody's interested, and we need our community to show that it's not that way.
Yeah,
so.
And that barge right there, that's not where you drive into dirt to get onto it. There was a concrete ramp there at one time.
Yeah, there was a wooden and concrete ramp, and it's gone. It's still underwater beside there, but we've got to get it put back in.
It's horrible. We need volunteers. I mean, big time. Because if the county's not going to do anything about it and the state's not going to do anything about it, and we need to get people involved in this, because this is losing a piece of history.
Yes.
I wonder how many people have gone.
And it's not necessary to lose it. I mean, we have ways of doing it, and we've actually offered to the county to come out and work together as a community, and they keep putting everybody off. Like, what if we put a GoFundMe up? Well, we're working on it. But then nothing's being done, and it's
part of it is privately owned, and the other part is taken care of by the county.
Correct.
If I'd like to see the county if they'll do their part, then we can help with the other part. So for our county officials, if you're listening, we've got people that will go in here and help.
Yes.
But we have to be able to work with you guys. You don't have to bring in people from out of the state, to get this thing going. Hell, we've got enough residents. And I'm sure there's enough people that have ridden across the ferry that if you guys and gals are listening to this now, contact your friends right now and have them write in.
Yes.
Or send us emails on, what your experiences were going across there. Send them over to the Putman Way, or to IITW Radio. Just send us an email, and we'll pass those along to the county.
Yeah, because the county's saying that there's no reason to put it back together because nobody's interested. Nobody wants to go across it. It's not necessary for people to drive around because they have the bridge or they have the other route. But they're not taking that route. They're not taking that bridge. I mean, shoot, gas, it may have gone down, but it's to try to keep up with the upkeep on your vehicle from going across all these sand roads in the community is enough. But then to drive an hour around just to go to work every day, we have a lot of people, a lot of our Putnam County, workers that actually come from the Salt Spring side that used to drive the ferry every day.
Oh, yeah, I got a call from a landscaping guy who told me that's a pretty shot there. And it's beautiful down there when you guys and gals go down and look at this. I love that cabin in the back. But you got a landscaping guy that called me the other day that he works in Ocala, and his business is all but gone now because it's costing him too much in fuel to drive all the way around. And then you've got a lady that works in Crescent City that called me. She uses that thing to go back and forth, 6 days a week.
Yes.
When it's open for her job. But now she can't even get to her job. She's breaking even with the amount of fuel. Hell, I know if I take my truck and go around, I only get 8 miles to the gallon. So it's a convenience for me.
Well, the county makes the comment that they're like, well, they can just get jobs elsewhere, but it's not that easy. If you've been to the Ocala side, the Salt Spring side, it's even harder to find. When you go from Satsuma or Crescent City all the way to Palatka to get to Walmart, okay, you've at least got houses and grocery stores in the middle. When you go on the other side to go to somewhere to where you could work, it's nothing but like driving out 100 to Benell. It's just plain land. It's horse country.
Well, even from a business side of it, when I have to go over there and cover fires and stuff that happen, or wildlife events that happen, or take pictures of the bears, I can't get across there. By the time I get around there, the fire's either out of control, I can't get near it, and just for our firefighters, it cuts a lot of time off.
It does.
Go ahead and click off those pictures. Do we have any of it now? Or, you have some
we have
pictures
the older pictures?
Yeah, with some kids and stuff that have been down there.
Yes, there's some older pictures if he goes into one of the other albums.
Yeah, but anyways,
we're not asking people to bash the county. We're trying to find a way for our community to come together to help the county because they seem to not understand how to take care of it. And all we're doing is just, we just need a boost.
Yeah.
This
But
one?
Some of the ferry going across, some of the other pictures, like the sunset pictures.
The first three
Yes.
right there.
But it's oh my gosh, it's the most beautiful thing, and it's such a family place. Everybody comes there. I mean, we have over 200 bikes that come through a year at the ferry, and they say there's nobody that rides the ferry. I mean, when you take 2 cars a day or 2 cars per ride, and you're back and forth 20 to 30 times a day from 7:30 a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. There, that's not nobody. That's constant trips. That's nonstop trips. And we have the numbers to show
can you
it,
swell those
but
up
the
a little
county
bit?
doesn't want to look at them. No, he can't swell that up. There's no way to pull that picture up.
Okay.
It's just where he's pulling them from. There's no way to do it.
Oh, that's okay.
Best as I can.
So.
He said he can. Chris
No,
is
that's
good.
The best as I can.
No, best he can.
Okay, that's the best he can. But you can see that old 1910 boat. That's Mr. Dale, I think, driving that thing.
Yes.
Mr. Dale is cool as all
Yes,
get
he
out,
is.
man. He'll tell you anything you want to know about that place. And there's the boat coming across. Now, it's cool. The first time I went across it, scared my kids to death. It was the greatest thing. I told them, if you don't, I told them when we first got on it, and they were scared, I said, if you don't behave, I'm going to carry you back across this thing, back and forth, because they were afraid it was going to sink, or it was going to break loose and we were going to go down the river. They have all the safety precautions. They have anchors and everything else. But as soon as we got about halfway, they were like, this is the coolest thing in the world, Dad. And they were tiny.
It is. It's beautiful. It doesn't matter if it's raining or what outside. It is so beautiful, so peaceful and calm across that river.
Brenda said if the county has a contract, the county should start applying for federal grants. Now, there was federal grants before, and I don't know where the money went to.
No, there was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that were put towards Fort Gates Ferry and Drayton Island Ferry, and yet the money seems to have disappeared. So we're waiting to see what the county has to say about that.
I'm sure they do, Brenda. She said there's Putnam County have grant writers. Brenda wrote in, only been here for 3 years, would have loved to have went across the river. Oh my God.
With the love of our community,
Brenda,
maybe we can still do it.
That thing is so cool when you go across it. I have talked to the Army Corps of Engineers, and because they only deal with the channel on the St. Johns River, they only deal with that, so they're not going to really get involved in it. Now, if the channel went up to the dock, they could help out. But this is a thing where we could get enough donations. I mean, somebody's out there can donate a barge.
Correct.
I found one up in Louisiana that we could have gotten for free and had it bought down here, but it would cost about $20,000. Having to go through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then Florida. And with the fuel and stuff, it would have been about $20,000 in the permitting to carry it from state to state to state. But I'm sure if they work with the different states if our state got involved, you got to start calling Ron DeSantis and tell him we need funding for this freaking thing.
Would you
'Cause
mind if I
this
put a
is-
couple-minute video up, while you're talking, so they can see? I mean, you can mute the video, but I'm going to put a little bit of a video.
Put the
Hold on,
one picture up of right here.
I've got an actual video of someone crossing it, Travis, so they can actually see both sides of it. If you give me 1 second.
Paul Newman, have a picture of Paul Newman out there
Yes.
when he was still alive. That guy's got some good barbecue sauce too. But yeah, go ahead and put the video up if you got
Okay,
it.
I'm sending it to Chris right now. This is
Okay.
actually a little bit. I mean, if you can put it on mute so we don't have to hear it while we're talking, but you can see what we're talking about, how beautiful it is. I mean, it's 7 miles of sand road on the other side, but it's all wildlife. It's so stunning.
And the old thing back when I was a kid, on Sundays, the parents would throw us in a car and we would go for a Sunday drive.
You could just put
and
that up while we're talking, Chris.
I tried to keep that same tradition with my kids years ago when they were tiny.
There you go.
Here we go. Here's the thing of it
That's
right
the
here.
7 miles of sand road on the other side. This is just while you're talking, people can kind of see. You can put it on mute if you want to. That way we can just kind of see.
Yeah, here's a schedule. What it used to be the schedule. On Tuesdays they closed. Of course, Mr. Dale has to go over to his favorite restaurants and eat breakfast. There's the other side of it.
This is
But
this is our side.
Imagine that, the Civil War guys came through here.
Mm-hmm.
The Seminole Indians. It was a transport. And this is some pretty cool video of people going across it. But it's not only a piece of history, it's the memories. That's the landing that used to be there where that barge was in that picture all destroyed.
Yes.
And the place used to be. And they've got it back up. Everything is back in working condition except for the barge and the landing. Here we go.
Yeah, so you can see how they come in on the wall.
Yeah, there's Mr. Dale.
Yep, that's on the other side. That's the Salt Springs side.
Yeah, and it's also, if you want to take your kids over to Salt Springs or Silver Glen Springs or any of that, it only takes a few minutes to get there versus hours. That guy knows what he's doing, too. He's been working there forever.
Yes, he's been working there for almost 20 years.
For 20 years?
Yeah, he's been captain of the ferry for almost 20 years. Yes, I think we figured it out last night or the night before. It was either 18 or 19 years. That's one of the other gentlemen that rode across. But there's Mr. Dale there.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Dale's a badass. I love him.
Yeah.
There's that old boat.
yeah,
I
too
hope
windy.
they keep that thing. And
They're
it
working
needs
on
to-
restoring it. They've got all the stuff there. We've got help, and we could use as many people. If you know something about it and you're able to help, give us a shout.
We need to get a hold of some of our boat people. You, the guys and gals, know anybody that restores boats and does them? We need your help to do this. They're not going to get paid for it, but there it is.
Yeah.
That thing can hold a few cars too. But the bikers that come across during Bike Week,
Yes.
I got a call from the bikers group this week asking if the ferry was open anymore. Here it comes up to the landing right here.
Yes. This is on the this side of the river on the Willaca side. See how smooth he comes in? Everybody gets so scared when they're coming to the wall because you have to come in at an angle, but he turns at the last second, so people start getting really scared. So it's
After 20 years, the guy knows what he's doing.
yeah.
He's carried me quite
Even in some of the
quite a few
worst
times.
storms, I mean, they shut down in high winds, but sometimes you're stuck out there and all of a sudden you get a freak storm. He brings it in there without even with barely a touch to the wall. You wouldn't even realize you were against the wall, and all of a sudden you're driving off it. But
For a little bit of old Florida, take the Fort Gates Ferry located near Georgetown, East Banks to Salt Springs, West Banks, daily, except for Tuesdays. That's because Mr. Dale, we'll give Meemaws a credit, because I see him down at Meemaws on Tuesdays.
right?
He's down there because they've got good food there.
Yes.
But anyways, not only is this a piece of history that's going to be lost forever, once it's gone, it's gone. This piece of history has nothing to do with race.
No.
And
the longer it's down, the harder it's going to be to bring back.
Yeah, and not only is it a piece of history that's going to be lost forever, but the memories that people can make with their kids going across that thing. Dina just joined in. I know Dina's been across it with her kids going
Yes.
across Fort Gates Ferry. But the memories that you'll make with your kids, and just that one day, because it's the oldest ferry was still operational until this crap happened in the United States. It's one of the few places where you can actually get an old piece of Florida and an old piece of history and go across there. And it's basically still the same way on the other side. Hell, Georgetown is still pretty much the same way it was during the Civil War and the Indian War, except for they built the houses after the Indians burned them down.
And if you take some of these Google, what do they call them? The little GPS. They'll take you through some of them old roads too.
Yeah. But on the other side, isn't the old house still over there?
Yes, the Fort Gates house actually is not right at the banks, but if you want a piece of history and you want to take a boat or you want to go around, it's actually if you go just around the bend from Fort Gates Ferry and you go around the bend, it's called the Fort Gates house, and they've pretty much redone the inside of that house. But yeah, they have Fort Gates house.
I know Donna's been on there. Donna just joined in. I know Donna's been across Fort Gates Ferry. But you guys and gals, instead of calling me, call your county commissioners and ask them what's the deal, because I don't know. I mean, they have meetings all the time about it, but still there's been no resolution about it. And this thing needs to be up and going before a piece of our history is lost. This thing, they've been hiring this. They're talking about hiring this guy for $30,000. Here's something that could bring in stuff to Putnam County. We don't need an outside source to come in and tell us how to redo it. This Putnam County used to be one of the number one tourist destinations in Florida years and years ago. I don't know what the hell happened. I'm not going to say it was the county officials, because I don't think it was. I just think that through circumstances and some bad county commissioners in the past and people that didn't know the difference between a bull's ass and a banjo getting involved with running the county, ran it into the ground. And I honestly believe that this group of county commissioners is trying to step up and do things. Although I don't agree with some of the stuff they do, they probably don't agree with some of this crap that I do, especially my potty mouth. But anyhow, I don't want to see this piece of history get lost.
So over the next week, y'all, we're going to be finding out some information about Fort Gates Ferry. We hope you guys will tune in. Get your friends and family to tune in. You know, we'll see what we can do, what's going on, and the best way for our community together and bring Fort Gates Ferry back. I mean, bring our history back. This is Florida history.
I'm actually in the process of getting...
It's our town. We need to bring it back.
I'm actually in the process of getting a meeting set up with Ron DeSantis right now, our governor, to see if he can step in.
Right.
And see if they can figure out something that's going on, because supposedly the other barge is going to be given to the Port Authority. But this is something that doesn't need to wait and keep going on and keep going on. My God, it's been a year and a half now. Let's just get it done. It's like the parking lot in East Palatka at the Station 6 Fire Department. For years, that thing sat there. One company stepped up, Florida Paving, stepped up, and Joe and his family,
yes,
and redid that parking lot for $50,000.
Yes.
Out of their own pocket. There are businesses that will help out. But we have to find out what we can do. I need all the county commissioners just to meet me down there this week, and let's all have a meeting. And then, I'll get every one of you in the studio here, and we'll talk about what we can do. I know there's enough of our citizens in this county that want to see it back up and running, that they're being willing to help. Brenda said, state is spending millions on roads. SR 17 is going to a beautiful drive through the county. Yeah, Miss Brenda, wait till you go over there across the Fort Gates Ferry and get over there and drive on the other side of this. Every time I've taken my kids through there,
it's beautiful.
We've seen wild black bear, we've seen deer. One time we saw a Florida panther. Mm-hmm. You know, just keep your windows rolled up. Don't get out and start taking pictures like I do.
Absolutely beautiful.
I've never had a bear try to attack me though, and I've got tons of pictures.
No, there's so much wildlife there. You're in the Ocala National Forest. As soon as you get off that ferry on the Salt Lake or Salt Springs side, you are in the Ocala National Forest for 7 miles.
I see freaking tortoises over there. They're huge.
It's absolutely stunning. The wildlife you'll see.
But just going across on the river.
Yeah.
And then all you got to do when you get to the other side and you want to come back is flash your lights and honk your horn twice, and then Mr. Dale will come pick you back up.
Yeah. Travis, you and I grew up in an era. I think what's so hard for me about this is you and I grew up in an era that everybody helped each other. When someone was in need, like you've talked about, you know, if the farmer couldn't get his crops in, you were right out there. As a community, you guys got together. It was a family thing. Where I was raised, if you needed somebody that needed help, you did it. Anybody in the community was your family. That's your immediate family. Even it may not be blood, but a community is basically a large family. And yet, our community needs to come together as a family and find a way to bring back something that's...
Bar none, we have the best audience of any news.
We do.
She said going to be over that way next week. Man, you're going to have to swim if you're going to go across the river. I'm sorry. But anyways, bar none, we have the best readers and listeners between the Putnam Way and IITW Radio. of any news organization or any radio station or any broadcasting company in the state of Florida. I would venture to say even in the United States. I mean, overseas doesn't count. But we have the best listeners and readers on the Putman Way and IITW radios. People always step up. At Christmas time, 50,000 plus toys went out to some 400 and something families. And it was all because you guys donated.
Yes.
And, you know, it's because of you that it makes it possible. I know we could all get together. Hell, I can slap some paint on stuff. You know, I can get out there with a welder. There's companies that will donate stuff. But it's going to take everybody getting involved. We can't rely on the county commissioners to do this. We can't rely on the state, even though I'm going to get involved with both of those groups. But if you guys and gals show these people that you're backing this, they're going to fix it.
Yes.
And it's going to be back and open before you know it. Jolene said, I've lived in Putnam County most of my life. Unfortunately, my parents were not into stuff like this, but know that I want to do things like this with my kids and grandkids. I'm being cheated on new comment.
Cheated out of.
Cheated
out of it.
I know it just said new comment across it.
I know, I saw that.
I'm being cheated out of it.
Correct.
Yes, you are.
And it's to them, it's they're saying that nobody's interested, and that's where we need our community to show no, that's not true. The community just wasn't aware of the situation, is what I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Well, even the national historian for the Department of Navy, when I talked to him a few weeks ago, he didn't even know anything about it. And he's the national historian, and that was originally a naval place.
Yes.
So he's coming down to look at it this week. I'm going to meet with him, and he's going to look at it, and we're going to see what we can get the Department of Navy and Naval Defense to do about it as well. But anyways, we are running out of time, guys and gals. Thank you guys for listening. You can check us out on YouTube, on IITW Radio, on Facebook, on IITW Radio, on the THE Putman. Oop, a radish had made me burp. The THE Putman, PUTNAM, Way, WAY. Probably everybody that listens to this thing already knows that anyways. And also don't forget to check out Tammy's new page, A Zen Lemon Tree. She put up a kick butt article. I was really impressed by it, about what this country has gone to. I was going to get on here and bitch and raise hell tonight about it, but there's other important stuff. You're welcome, Miss Brenda. She said, thank you for the info. But you guys and gals, remember, support your local businesses. They had a thing in here, I'm going to say it real quick, but they're offering a guy from Pensacola $30,000 to come in and revitalize Putnam County. We don't need that. There's other ways to doing it. We as a community get together with our county commissioners. We don't need to be spending money out of our pockets and putting it in this other guys. I'm going to tell you something about Pensacola and those other areas they're talking about getting revived. Pensacola destroyed themselves years ago by stopping drinking on the beaches and by killing their party crowds that came through. Daytona did the same thing. All these guys did. Spring break is a rotating thing. People pick out these different spots, Sarasota, Daytona, Miami, all these different places every few years, and they go by there. So their business is going to come back around. But puny little Putnam County, we can show the state and everybody else that we do make a difference. Now, you guys remember to support your local first responders, our volunteer firefighters that only make a few dollars a call. Support them. Thank them when you see them out there. Don't run up to them while they're putting out a fire at a wreck. But when you see them walking in a grocery store with their shirts on, thank them. Thank your local sheriff's department and police departments for the job they do and the time and effort and they give of their lives and every day risking their lives for us. And also, when you see a veteran, whether it be old or a young kid coming in his fatigues into the stores, walk up and thank them for their service. It makes a big difference. To all you out there who's been listening tonight, we love you. And we will see you back here on Monday night. Yes.
Before we go,
I got the finger. Hold on.
We had two people write in. A couple were asking questions about what happened with the fireman, Melvin, and his wife. And we also had somebody asking about RCMA. Did you want to answer that tonight, or do you want to follow that up on Monday?
We'll follow back up that on Monday because we are out of time.
Yes, we will take care of
that. I
that.
got about 10 seconds to go here, so I'll tell you that we are still working on the stuff for Melvin.
Yes.
And they still do need help. With Hitchcock's is coming up weekend, I believe they're going to have a can drive for all of our volunteer firefighters. I'm trying to get some other organizations involved in it, some other grocery stores and stuff. As far as what was the other question?
The RCMA.
Okay. Andrea said, tell people to stop by the stand. Oh, crap. I almost forgot about them. And to get fresh fruits and vegetables. One in Satsuma and also East Palaka. They have everything down there. That pineapples, apples. They got every kind of freaking orange you can think of to eat down there. And that stuff is fresh. It's delicious. Matt and his wife, Luann, go and pick up fresh produce every couple of days. They drive all over the state looking for the freshest stuff. They have the best produce in Florida.
Yes,
Make sure you go. And it's cheap.
Yes.
It's cheaper than the big department stores.
Monday night, we'll do a thing on RCMA for those who are asking tonight. If you want to follow up, 7 o'clock Monday night, same time, same place. We will be here.
The parents didn't seem to give enough crap to even show up for the meeting, so I'll get into that next week.
Right.
But anyways, thank you guys and gals for listening. I ain't got to go home. We will see you back here Monday night, God willing. The creek don't rise and the government don't get me first. Remember to stay tuned on the 4th. Miss Helen's going to be back in here talking about how you can get into some of these free programs to help you out, to get new mobile homes, to get your places repaired for food, clothing, shelter, all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. So we will see you back here. We love you guys. We'll see you Monday night. I'm out.
Good night, Joe.
Oh, I got to give my shout outs before we get out of there. Listen to this song too. To Mama B, to my niece Rosie, to my sister Lori, to Tiffany Parker.
Yes.
Annette, happy birthday coming up. To Audrey, Mr. Steve, Gary, Tiffany, Tammy, my partner in crime.
We also have a shout out to Stars in Toledo. They were the ones who started out this music tonight. Thank you guys.
And Andrea, you're welcome. All right, you guys, remember to check out our sponsors that go across the screen before you click out of here, and enjoy the song. I'm out. Good night.
Snuggling with my demons, and I kind of like it here. Now everything that's bad for me becomes my comfort food. And from time to time I take a pill to elevate my mood. I'm coveting my neighbor's ass and things that I can't have. I bathe myself in misery like it's medicated salve. Since I told my better angels they could go piss up a road, not come back unless they brought a sack of killer dope. I'm smoking packs of cigarettes and drinking quarts of beer, snuggling with my demons, and I kind of like it.
If you're still listening, the air show is happening tomorrow at Palaka Airport. Air and car show.
As long as I got gas to burn, I won't hit the brakes, 'cause I've still got a lot to learn from my own mistakes. I told my better angels they could go piss up a road, not come back unless they brought a sack of killer dope. I'm smoking packs of cigarettes and drinking quarts of beer, snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. Yeah, I'm snuggling with my demons, and I kinda like it here. It's a real nice place. I kinda like it here. I don't care what Mama said. Intervention? What are you talking about?